Football players are known as modern-day gladiators that must not only fight their opponents, but fight to prevent injuries all season long. Technology has revolutionized football gear, creating better injury prevention and quicker injury diagnostics.
Football helmets are designed, developed, and tested to best protect players.
We provide sports analytics to elite athlete teams, primarily through wearable devices, and what those devices capture are different biomechanical movement that can be translated into injury prevention, sports analytics.
We can actually measure proteins in blood at a level that no one else in the world can, and that has huge implications, not just for medicine and science, but for sports.
This is NFL Next. The football helmet was once made only from leather. Now it is made from some of the most sophisticated materials in the world. Riddell has been there since the beginning.
John Riddell started by inventing the first plastic football helmet in the 1930s, and the web suspension system was used in military helmets until the 1990s. Riddell created the first helmet, the Riddell Pack 3, that met the newly instituted NOxy helmet performance standard in the early 1970s. Riddell pioneered custom airfit football helmets and really drove the design of the modern football helmet with the Riddell revolution in the early part of the last decade. NFL players can choose whichever helmet they want to wear, so we have to be mindful of the things that they want in a football helmet, whether that's great protection, comfort, and also a look that's appealing to them as well. So the SpeedFlex is Riddell's latest football helmet. It incorporates many technologies that expand upon the earlier Revolution design, but it includes some flexible technology. This machine is called a linear impactor. It's designed to replicate the helmeted head and upper torso of one player striking another player on the football field. From this type of test, we can measure a number of different data types. Rotational acceleration, we can compute different injury metrics like severity index and hic and gambit. Riddell's instrumented helmets are called the sideline response system, and they have accelerometers embedded within the padding system of the helmet that measure the impacts that a player's head is seeing on the field.
Two-a-day practices have been a football tradition for years, but new studies by Catapult have proven that overtraining can lead to causing more injuries. Players' biometrics can be tracked to create new practice and training schedules to decrease the possibility of injuries.
A lot of it starts with soft tissue injuries, so things like groin pulls, hamstring injuries, those are all fairly preventable, and a lot of those are based on overwork and overexertion. So we have teams that wear our devices in practice, and they'll be monitoring all of their athletes, and the data stream live to a laptop. If they know a player's coming back from a certain injury, they only want them to go so hard. So it really monitors things that you can't capture with your human eye. Being able to maximize what you do on game day really relies on what you do throughout the rest of the week and even in the off-season leading into that. So you see a lot of the transformation already.
Injury diagnostics is a vast new area of exploration. Quanterix is working to diagnose concussions on the sidelines with a simple pinprick, revolutionizing the diagnostic process for not just sports, but the medical profession as a whole.
Ultimately, the objective here is to develop tests that have 100% diagnostic accuracy, which means basically you have 100% sensitivity as well as 100% specificity.
Today, I think there's more and more rules being implemented to try to protect the player. But because sometimes concussions can occur just by the head's movement at a very fast velocity, many times you may not be able to know for sure that a concussion has occurred. And the vision that we have is that there'll be a finger prick on the sideline, and you would then have the blood taken from the finger prick and be put into an instrument that would be on the sideline to determine whether or not those protein markers have been elevated. It would be an indication that there has been a concussion or the beginnings of a concussed event.
And we're able to show a clear correlation between the levels of tau protein in blood with concussion severity. Within 1 hour of the injury, we're able to provide information about safe return to play.
I can imagine a time in the not too distant future where the data by position and likelihood of players seeing certain impact profiles over the course of a week or a season, and it'll allow us to develop helmets that are tuned for particular skill levels and playing positions.
going 100% all the time isn't always the best thing to do when you're talking about practices. It's really about preparing yourself to be 100% at game time.
The future really in the medium term is what markers are the most effective for improving diagnostic accuracy, and how do we get this onto a handheld point-of-care device. I am completely passionate that this is doable in the next 3, 4, 5 years, and I think that could be very impactful for NFL.
In one of the most physically challenging sports in the world, technology is finding new ways to keep players on the field and off the sidelines.